Carl doesn't want to offend the gluten people. But then he says the most outlandish shit, and you're like, you're worried about.
Yeah.
We doesn't care about offending people of race. People.
But gluten lives matter. So. Carl come and say all types of wild shit.
Carl needs a t-shirt.
Oh, gluten lives matter. So funny. With a picture of him on.
Please tell me that was being recorded. Oh, thank God. Because that's probably the funniest thing that's going to happen on the whole show.
It'll come back. We'll bring it.
Should we just jump in?
Yeah, man.
Welcome to the Bar Talk Podcast. I am your host, or one of, Jordan Shabbat. It's good to be back in the seat. Joined today by, always, Andy Driscoll.
Hello.
And we're joined by Nick Thatcher today of Plymouth.
What's up?
And we're going to talk about kitchen life today. Nick's got a extensive background in kitchens, as do I.
I worked in a kitchen.
Andy moonlighted in a kitchen for 10 minutes.
6 months. 6 months.
6 months, 10 minutes. Same thing. But in a time now where there are kitchens and restaurants popping up everywhere, doing all kinds of different shit, the kitchen life thing is, especially with the death of Anthony Bourdain, it's, if you ever read his book, Kitchen Confidential, the whole kitchen life thing, it's a vagrant, dirty, but rewarding, sort of nothing like it position, in my opinion. I don't know.
I mean, yeah, it's tough. There's a glorious aspect of it. Some people don't know about it, that they look at like, oh, it's so cool, I want to do it,
Right.
But it's rough. It can be rough.
Yeah, especially this time of year. I mean, we're in the middle of July.
We're a different breed of people in the industry.
Yeah, that's, I think, the point of kitchen life, and that people don't understand. Like, I get there are other difficult jobs out there. I'm not saying working in a kitchen is the most difficult job, but it's one of. And it's not as rewarding as some of the more difficult jobs, too, because, let's be honest, short order cook, you're not going to get paid $50 an hour to do it. And if you are, then you're not doing any of the work. You're probably an executive chef that expos and it's or an owner or something like that.
It's on you to get the experience to work your way up. I mean, I'm not saying you can never do it and make the money, but it's a tough way. It's a tough road. And some people, it's kind of just on where you want to be. It's on you to fucking, rise up.
Right.
I guess.
What kind of person works in a kitchen?
You listen to three of them right now. I own a place, and I voluntarily work in the kitchen. I don't have to, but I like to have my finger on the pulse. And I'll be honest with you, there is a part of me that I hate to admit, and don't tell Seahorse this, but I like it back there. I like the camaraderie.
Yeah,
I like the sense of accomplishment at the end of the day. I like getting dirty. I like getting creative. I like to hear people are enjoying my food. We do a lot of specials. Yeah, it really is. You work hard on something and you actually see someone consume it. It's instant gratification.
Yeah. Do you think that's part of it, is that you have the bartender and, they make drinks, but they don't actually distill the spirits or make the beer. You have the waitress who brings the food, but you guys are the ones that actually make the product that the person takes in.
That's a great point.
I mean, I wouldn't put too much away from the bartenders because...
Oh, definitely not, because they serve us.
Seen bartenders who, of course,
I love
but I've
them.
seen some bartenders make one recipe, then make the same, and it's like, this drink is way better, but it's the same thing, you know what I mean?
But if someone comes in and be like, I want a Smirnoff Ice, a good bartender can't do anything about that,
Nah, man.
No, twisting bottles and pouring drafts. But you know what? I give the bartenders a lot of credit, too, and waitresses. You got to deal with the fucking public.
Yeah, you got to deal with a lot of assholes, man. A lot of bullshit.
And that's another reason why I love the kitchen. You can kind of hide back. We only got to deal with each other.
You just peek up a little bit, but yeah.
Right. Nick works over at the Speedwell with me. Though I don't think we've actually worked a shift together.
We haven't worked a shift together, but on Mondays.
I'm nervous if that
I've been there. Been there for a little bit.
Yeah.
Low key.
Oh, we broke the rule. Don't tell Carl.
A couple days a week. We snatched him as soon as we could. But he's also down in Malabar Brasserie working under Jim Casey, friend of the show. Yeah. Which is, like you said, rising up and learning. That's a great person to learn from.
It's exactly. It's like I said, it's all about how you want to elevate yourself. You can do a lot of turn and burn stuff, which is more like Speedwell, or like if you want to be more creative, learn some more stuff, a little more advanced food, like a place like Malabar. They're almost kind of like polarizing stuff. It's both great, you know what I mean? And it's just one extreme to the next, kind of.
Right.
It's just how it is right now.
Speedwell's kitchen's sort of like a frat house, and
it
then
is,
you go over
and
to
I love
Malabar
that.
and it's like college. Like,
yeah, over there it's
without
like
the frat house, like you're legit in class. You know what I mean?
Pretty much. Yeah.
So, how frequently do you get to be creative and make your own dish? Because I know Audette, Matt Audette, friend of the show, came up with the French onion soup tater tots.
Chicken French onion soup. Basically, him and his
They
girlfriend
were
Sarah.
fucking amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, they got stoned the night before.
That's what I was saying. Sarah and his friend of the show, as well as Mayflower Brewing, him and Matt of Speedwell Tavern, and also musician, and also had a podcast with you guys for a while. Him and Jeff got to get back on that, but
they can't get time off from the Speedwell.
They date, so that's pretty rad. That's a power couple right there. But they got stoned one night and made some chicken French onion soup,
they definitely
casserole or something, and Matt's like, yo, dude, like, we should totally, like, put that on some tater tots. That would slam. And I said, okay.
I said it just like...
But it was killer. So, like, is that kind of encouraged in the kitchens, or is that kind of a...
It's tough.
Or does it go from kitchen to kitchen where they're like...
Okay, it's like this. So to explain that, it's more like, okay, when I started off, I just had a job. Working in the kitchen. I'm like probably 16, 17 years old. That's it. It takes time to really realize, like, do you really like what you're doing? Yeah. Are you into this, or you want to be, like, is this something you see yourself doing? A lot of people, like, not like years later, they look up and like, oh, wait a minute, this is what I do. Yeah. And then you start liking it, and you're like, you know what? Yeah. And then it totally changes. And after that, you're like, then you want to be creative and you want to do things, and because you learn more about the craft. And then, like you said earlier about, like, you like when people enjoy your food. Like, there's a gratification about it. It feels really good. That's the best thing to me. Like, sometimes I just make stuff just to make it. Yeah. And I'm like, oh, try this. Right. Is it like, you like it? Yeah. I'm like, oh, why don't you have some too? Like, no, I'm not even hungry. Just, you know what I mean? Like,
if I wanted to do the same thing every single day, cook the same thing every single day, I would get an office job and make more money doing that in an air-conditioned room sitting on my ass all day.
And when I was younger, it was like that. Make the same thing every day. You hate it. About a year later, fuck this, I'm done. Yeah. Take a year off, come back because you miss it. You know what I mean? You know,
Speedwell is sort of like that, where we're small menu, very focused on the same shit: burgers, wings, every day. We do it well. We do it really well, and we got a small kitchen.
Do it really well.
Thank you, but it does get repetitive. I want the guys to come up with specials there, not just me, and I do 90% of them. I'll be honest. Because I have the freedom of schedule, but it's also because I execute. Like, if someone comes up with an idea and says, hey, we should do this, well, you said we, so I'm not going to do all the work. Yeah. I want my kitchen guy to let me know what to order, how they're going to price it, the same shit I do every time I run a special. I know what I paid for those ingredients. I looked up a recipe, I altered it or improved it or whatever.
Make it cost effective and everything.
Exactly.
Like, that's the growth right there. That's literally the growth. Like,
and that's what I want my guys doing. They can't just say, I want to do this, and then... so the chicken French onion soup special, Matt said, let's do this. I said, okay, let's, plural. Like, we're going to do this. And he has the shifts back there, and they're limited. He's limited to sort of what he has the freedom to do because there's so much regular stuff to prep. Yeah. But...
he'll come in on off times, though.
Yeah, he comes in on off
times.
He did an egg roll
early
special.
Sometimes. I've seen him come in.
And that's the thing. He executed. And then Sarah sent me the recipe they worked off of, so I made sure he had everything we needed, and we came together and we banged it out. Same thing with Zach when we did the what was it, the chimichurri steak fried thing we did, and that's right. That was Zach. He sent me his recipe for chimichurri, and that's what I want. It's not just like a what you should do thing. So I want all the guys to get creative, man. That job's fucking tough back there if you're not doing different shit.
I give you credit, Jordan.
Well,
and you show up there on a Sunday and you work with your brother. Like, that's like... that's what got me in there. I was just like, I'll come in there.
Kind of fresh, No, I'm working with COS, but thank you. Yeah, but like I said, I enjoy it back there. I really do. Yeah. I really do.
Now, I haven't been back in Speedwell's kitchen, but it seems on the small side. Yeah. So is there a big difference between that and Malabar? Malabar's got a really nice kitchen.
Huge difference. I mean, ridiculous difference. There's so many more toys and tools and all this equipment, this modern stuff we have now, and these techniques that Jim imposes, and also not just Jim, but also Shakira. Shout out to Shakira, she's fucking amazing.
Shakira
the musician?
No, not the musician. Shakira Rock, she's a chef there too.
I think I see her.
She is amazing. Okay. She is really, really good. I think she's gonna come up the ranks a little bit. People are gonna start hearing about her. But I mean, we have like dehydrators, we have, sous vides. all types of mixers, blenders, everything. It's all technique. You know what I mean? And it's very complex. And it's, honestly, to me, a lot of it's very new. And I've been doing this for a long time, worked in all types of kitchens over the past, 15, 20 years. And this place is probably, my match right now. This is, what's going to push me a little forward.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. It's very different. There's a lot more space, as opposed to, Jordan's Kitchen, which I'm used to, like that. You know what I mean? That's,
short
short order, but it's,
Yeah.
bust your ass. It's busy, running around.
Yeah, it's so funny how it works. The bigger kitchen is more focused on detail, and the smaller kitchen is more focused on volume. You would think it would go the other way around. The bigger the space, the more volume, right? But honestly,
because I'm in there and I'm prepping, and pretty much I work as a prep guy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I work 9 to 2.
Yeah.
Mondays and Wednesdays. You know what I mean? And I just chop up a bunch of shit while we're cooking and everything, and it's and usually every time it's just huge takeout orders or whatever coming in early in the morning. Rocco Trust people want 85 wings and all types of shit and crazy stuff, but prepping right in the middle of that and everything, and Seahorse, we're just doing the dance and everything, and I it's when you're doing it, it's damn, this sucks.
Yeah.
But I love it. It's
right.
It's hard to
And especially kind of when you get that.
when it's all done, you
yeah,
sense of
fucking
calm.
right.
But you also
yeah.
kind of get that vibe with that person you're working with, where
there is that
you
too.
learn to be out of the other person's way.
waltz.
Yeah.
It's that's what we say. It's called the ballet.
yeah.
Yeah.
The kitchen I worked in for 10 minutes had 2 pizza ovens, one on top of the other.
Oh, yeah.
So it was above
Damn.
shoulder height to get the pizzas out, because I'm not a very tall person, not like Carl.
No, Carl 6'3".
And it was one day that one of the pizza ovens broke, and of course it was the bottom one, which was the one you used the most, and one of the busiest days, so you do trying to get.
Why don't you just swap them out? Pick up the one.
Oh yeah, sure, yeah, no problem. And I ended up dumping a hot pizza on a dude's leg.
Oh shit.
And I felt awful, but it's just because everyone's crammed back there. The owner's back there because you're so jammed up trying to help out. And
Right.
it's just
Kitchen injuries suck.
yeah.
That's a
Kitchen
good.
injuries.
He was
fucking
also
suck.
Good point.
He was. What's the worst injury you've ever gotten?
Literally just last week. This isn't the worst.
At
2
Speedwell?
weeks ago, I cut
That was
the
a good
whole
one.
tip of my thumb off.
How's that looking?
It's good now.
Yeah, I do.
This guy, shout out to Jordan. He bandaged me up the best way ever, because I go to Malibu to change it. Jim's like, I can do that. Fucking grab my thumb. And then it was bleeding again like crazy, profusely. I'm like, thanks, Jim.
I've cut myself so many
But
times.
this guy, man, I think he got some training there or something, because I was
No,
like,
I've had
wow.
many stitches and injuries. That's why.
And it didn't hurt.
Yeah.
But when Jim grabbed it, he was like, I got you. Boom. Split open. Blood everywhere.
Jim's a
I'm
little
like,
bit of a
damn.
caveman sometimes.
Yeah.
He is.
We love him to death, but he's a brute.
Well,
My worst though is I got burned really bad. It was a pan with I was working on a driftwood at the time, and this guy had some idiot cook. I'm not gonna talk about his name. He had this pan on it, was just burning, smoldering hot. I'm like, why is this pan on him? It was wicked busy, and I grabbed it. Didn't realize there was butter in it, and I went to throw it in a bucket, and the butter sloshed out and splashed on my leg. And it just, you can still kind of see it. It looks like a spill.
Yeah.
But on the side of my leg, it
Right.
just. And that was the only time I ever took a workman's comp. Hennessy was like, you need to go to the hospital. I'm
Yeah.
like, oh, no, I'm working. And then the
Right.
next day I was like, shit.
yeah.
So I took some days off.
Usually when the owner's like, you need to go to the hospital,
Yeah.
it's serious.
Especially Hennessy.
I was like, yo, let me get workman's comp for real.
First episode ever of our talk. If you want to know Matt Hennessy,
Yeah.
go back and listen.
Yeah, he was.
Him and Jimmy Agnew.
First and third, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, the hell of a combo right there.
Yeah.
That was a fun time.
That was a rough one.
My worst injury was similar. It was a fryer injury. So a chemical. Well, they consider it a chemical burn, but it's it's a grease burn, and it sucks because you essentially fucking cook
Cooking
yourself.
yourself.
Yeah.
You really do, and it doesn't. It goes
And
into
it
your
lingers.
pores, and
It lingers.
and you can't really do much to relieve it besides put cream on it.
the
And
only thing other than those burns, a steam burn is probably the worst. And I haven't really had one, but I've seen some people get some bad ones.
really,
Yeah. Everything, your skin just comes right off.
yeah, that's what happened to
And
me
it
with the fry
just
burn.
holds.
Yeah.
I had the back plate goes on the fryer, and
Yeah.
that's where the baskets hang or whatever. So we had a fryer that started puffing up. This is before Speedwell, the place I worked at beforehand, and I was the GM there, but I was jumping in the kitchen to help out. Same situation,
Yep.
too many, and this kitchen's even smaller than Speedwell. It's like half the size. So this fryer starts puffing up. When I say puffing up, it was starting light on fire, and my instinct was to clean it. So shut it off immediately, whatever, cover it. I go to grab the back plate, and I do it with tongs because it's hot, and it falls into the grease, and grease splashes up and lands on my right arm. And my immediate reaction, and I think anyone's immediate reaction, would to be like, rub it,
right,
get that off.
Yeah,
and I did that, and
you just
rub it. You rubbed it off.
All my skin came off. Yeah, a Freddy Krueger hand, and I can't believe it. There is no scar or anything, but I would love to post a picture of it on the Bar Talk page.
Sure.
If you find it, I'll post mine with my leg because I have a bad. It's the worst picture ever.
Yeah. Maybe we'll make a really nasty, like, post your injuries
Hall
here.
of Meat, like, Fashion magazine. Oh my god, it's the best.
You always see, like, people who are really experienced in kitchens tend to grab things that normal people wouldn't.
Oh, yeah, that's me.
Yeah.
That's me.
So, is there something about, like, killing the nerves in your finger? Like, how do you... Is it just, like, you
my
just
hands
do it, or?
are ridiculous.
Yeah.
Well, it's out of
especially now because, like, at Malabar, what I do, I'm the grill guy there. All the steaks, I do that. So everything is, I'm dealing with a lot of picking up hot pans and all that.
Yeah.
Just outside of what I normally already do.
Right.
But I've noticed when people are like, you can't touch that. I'm like, yeah, I can. Like, what are you talking about? They're like, oh, wait a minute, don't touch that. And I'm like, get it out of here. Like, ooh, I'm like, oh, it's hot, isn't it? I'm like, I can't feel shit. Or if I'm going to feel it 5 seconds later.
Right.
My nerves.
Yeah, and everything's hot. That's the thing about the
and all my
kitchen.
fingertips are just callous, so it's...
You got to get the job done, and you know, even just like so at Speedwell, we do our own dishes. We cook and do dishes. So you pull a dish, you're rushing to get dish done.
Yeah.
In between, you're not going to sit there and wait for the dishes to cool off. You go and you reach for something that's sitting there at 160 degrees. You know, a ceramic plate at 160 degrees.
It is pretty odd to someone who doesn't normally do that or around that, and
we've done it for so long that we don't realize it. But, you
we're
know,
already prepared for the reaction. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it might still hurt us, like, because there's times you get hurt, you don't even know it. You find cuts later on, like, oh shit.
Well, what about when you're about to drop something? You're like, I would much rather burn my hand than have to cook that again.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I think that happens so many times. You don't want it to hit the floor.
Oh yeah, you drop and grab it. The only thing you don't go to reach for is like a falling knife. You just fall back and let that go. But
Jordan.
Yeah. Previous injury.
Yes.
Look, there's nothing wrong with catching a knife point first. It happens.
Yeah.
Jordan's done it. I've done it. You move on.
It's reactionary. It's
it's
done
like
it. I've done it been successful, but I've never actually like didn't cut myself. But
right.
I wouldn't recommend it.
The story I told, and this didn't even happen in the kitchen, where I was sharpening a knife while watching Seinfeld, and I missed the sharpening.
Yeah. For some reason, I thought you dropped it.
No, I thought that's what I've done it. I've done it before. I grabbed the knife midair and suffered the consequences too, but not nearly as close of an injury. But yeah, and that's the thing too, man. You're in a cramped kitchen. You're working with a bunch of people. You're all trying to get the job done as quickly as possible, as efficiently as possible. Accidents are going to happen, but that's why it's so important to work with people you're familiar with too.
Yeah.
You know,
I mean, back to that, that too.
That waltz, you know, that the ballet, that you know, knowing where someone is without having to see them, and you just build up a chemistry. Like, you know,
because you work a certain night with someone every, like, you know, Friday night, you already know the crew. Like, this is what it is. You know what I mean? And like you don't realize it, but after a while, you're like, you know, this person's next move, what they're gonna do. Yeah. Just by the look of the tickets on the board, what you have going on. Oh, you're picking up on this. I know they're picking up on that. So I'm gonna back up to this. Next thing you know, boom, they're right in front of you. Because you know.
It's fucking crazy.
It's nuts.
It is crazy. There is a pattern.
It's like a telepathy almost. I don't even know.
Yeah.
Like, you just...
How about the nights where you're just off? I hate
that.
Oh,
yeah.
You're used to that chemistry, but for whatever reason, maybe Mercury's in retrograde or something. Yeah. You have those nights where you've worked with this person or these people for like 3 or 4
outside
years.
things that you're thinking about.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
And you just don't have it that night. Like I think about athletes with, like, you know, when they have a bad game or something. I'm like, that must be it. Something just, they got out of bed 5 minutes too late or something.
Yeah.
And that's when injuries tend to happen because you're overly cautious and not confident. And dude,
and it shows too. People be like, "What's wrong with you? Like, you're not yourself. What's going on?
You're in my way."
Yeah. What is the deal?
Because you really do. You become one, and it's not to get too existential about it, but you become like one being. Like you're like one person with 8 arms. You become this brigade. They call it a kitchen brigade. And you become a system.
It's an oiled machine. Like,
yeah.
You know what I mean?
And when one cog on that isn't performing correctly, whether they be hungover or just not, the head's not in it, you feel that all the way across. It's pretty wild. And
at like Malabar, like if that happens, it's like it's a bad collapse. It's like if you're dragging on one thing, everything else is fucked up.
Yeah,
you know what I mean,
bottlenecks. Yeah.
Sometimes in like a smaller kitchen, like yours is really good for like, oh, like, I forgot this, and he'll be like, "Don't worry, I got you."
Right.
And I'm like, "Oh shit, damn, thanks." He sees he has a good vision, like, you know what I mean.
Absolutely.
He knows that kitchen inside and out. You know what I mean? But like at Malabar, it's like everyone has their job, and like you got to do this job, and you do this job, and it works. And
Right.
how gym is, everything is perfect.
Perfect.
Like I was like, "There's such thing as perfect." No, there is such thing as perfect. You
Yeah.
work for Jim Casey.
Malabar.
Yeah, that's it.
At my anniversary dinner there, let me tell you, there is such thing as perfect.
Such thing as perfect.
That kitchen intimidates the hell out of me. I went back there a couple times when it was Nosh too, when Mike Morway was the owner over there, and before it was Malabar. And that kitchen, even then, like, you know, he was more of upscale pub food, not French cuisine.
It was very
gym.
gastropub, you know.
But still, it was it was amazing. That
Tip
kitchen's
top.
amazing, and what Jim has done with it, and dude, it's crazy. The guy knows his stuff.
He
really
does. He does.
It's intimidating.
Because I've never, when I first went, I was like, Jesus Christ. Like,
Right.
I felt like I was like really young again. Because usually I step in kitchens, I'm like, I got this, whatever.
Right.
Yeah.
You
just
know,
like it is.
that
Speedwell.
place I was more like, okay,
We didn't even train you as
back to
Speedwell.
student.
You
No, like
stepped
I just
in.
was like, yeah.
I know what I do.
So, like, Joe Sixpack's experience with executive chefs is Anthony Bourdain's Kitchen Confidential and, the British guy, Hell's Kitchen.
Gordon Ramsay.
Gordon Ramsay screaming at people. Like, how accurate are those?
I think Kitchen Confidential is pretty accurate.
Yeah, more so.
With the drugs and the debauchery.
That is
Yeah.
absolutely on point. Like that's.
Not that either of
There's
our
just
kitchens-
vices.
Yeah.
No, not like we don't have like bad. Like there's no bad
Right.
shit. It's all good people, but we all know somebody. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? Who's doing something,
Mm-hmm.
whatever, or see people falling off. I've seen it often. You know what I mean?
You think it's part of that you are always
It's high strung.
it's high strung, it's fast paced. You try to be perfect. You're always working Friday and Saturday nights.
Yeah.
You know, your
You're working
downtime
nights.
is like Tuesday.
It's
Right.
not
Do you
9
think
to
that's part
5.
of
You're
it?
not
Yeah.
just going like you don't have your time off and take your Sundays and do whatever. And you know what I mean? If you do, you're lucky or you're vetted in pretty good.
Yeah.
It's chicken and the egg too, though, because you know, especially now at time like where it's really hard to find good kitchen help. Sometimes you're hiring people that have problems because they're the only people willing to do the job.
Exactly.
They know their love's not in it. They're not there for the cooking. They're there for the paycheck. And they're the only people like, well, I can't get hired here. I can't get hired there.
Yeah.
But you know what? Restaurants are so desperate right now for a dishwasher or a good prep
But
cook.
just
or-
solid people. Someone
Yeah.
just to show up. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
That's all we
Someone
want.
you can just trust and be like, well, at least I know they'll be there. They're trash cook, but hey, you know what? It's a body. He'll be here. I know
Right.
he'll show up.
And that's the importance to that, especially in those
Because there's really
conditions.
good cooks who just like, they're flaky. It's like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like, you have the skills, but you don't, or they don't want to participate. You know what I mean? Like, I only do this, that, the next. Don't ask me for shit.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay.
But when you're giving those kind of people opportunities, they could relapse, or they could even be on it and you don't even realize it.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, that's the drug culture I'm talking about. But even then, you're just getting someone that's a little nuts, got a couple screws loose.
Yeah.
Because they won't fit in somewhere else. They fit in the kitchen because, like Nick said, they're a body. They show up. They work hard.
Yeah.
They're a little fucking nuts or a little awkward, but. We're not here to pick and choose. This isn't the social hour. They're not dealing with the clientele. They're just dealing with the other cooks in the kitchen.
Right.
And the shit keeps going.
Yeah.
Like, nothing
Yeah.
stops. But as customers, this is how it is. You know what I mean?
So it's both. I think it's both.
Yeah.
I think the lifestyle leads to
The lifestyle leads
vices.
to it because some of your leisure time turns into after hours drinking,
Yeah.
which turns into drugs and staying up all night or whatever. You know what I mean?
Right, 'cause
And
you're
then
already-
watch
it's
rinse,
like-
repeat. Like that's
Yeah.
so you just become this monster.
So
You know what I mean? It's kind of what it is until you realize, like, all right,
Yeah, if hopefully you shake yourself out, or vice versa, where you become that from other circumstances, and the only place that'll hire you is a
yeah,
kitchen that needs a show to cook. So either way, I think the conditions sort of magnetize. Magnetize that sort of behavior. And I mean, not everybody too. I
It's
mean,
not everybody.
You and
Yeah.
I aren't on fucking drugs, so it's like, you know what I mean. We just enjoy. We found solace in it, in the lifestyle.
we've done it long enough where it's like it's hard to live a life without it.
Exactly.
You know,
Kind of like
That's-
a drug.
yeah.
So,
We like the abuse, you know.
do you think you could hack a 9 to 5 Monday through Friday job?
I mean, I kind of do that.
Depending
now,
what it
but-
is, because I've slipped out of cooking in the construction.
Yeah.
I've slipped out and did office work. I hated that shit. By the way, that was the worst.
I mean, Jordan's, the weekday afternoon restaurant owner.
Yeah, since Joel's been born, I'm not there at night. At night. I'm not there at night to kind of protect everyone from me because I turn to a pumpkin at night. You know, it's tough, man. You know, and it's just, I don't know, that lifestyle is kind of tough now.
Well, it's kind of do or die. It's like you want to be the after hours guy, you're going to be all in.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
You got to be able to sleep till 11, and I don't have that.
Yeah.
There for me. You know what I mean? I can't do that. So I had to switch. But I used to be the night owl. I used to close the bar 6 times a night. And I don't miss it at all.
Yeah.
I really don't. I give a lot of credit to the guys still doing it, and it's fucking nuts.
What's the worst thing to cook?
The worst thing to cook?
Yeah, where you're like, fuck, they ordered that again?
I mean...
Speedwell, I think the common consensus is like onion rings, just because they're a pain in the ass. I don't mind.
I would normally say that, but I don't really. It's whatever. It's when people want like sauteed stuff there, like the veggie wraps and all that.
Yeah.
I'm like, what the fuck, man? Like, come on.
Yeah, and it wipes out your unit because you're not prepared to do 30 stir fries.
No, like if you get hit with like 3 veggie wraps or something like that, it's like, yo, I got 2 burners, like, you know.
Yeah, saute's.
But there's not too many. There's not too many things that I'm like, oh, what the fuck, like, you know, we're pretty
prepared.
Yeah, there's a good
Slayer's
system there
suck.
where it's
Yeah.
like, you know.
You guys were talking about mods earlier. What is a mod?
Mods are getting crazy.
Mods is the worst
Yeah,
because
modified.
everyone has an allergy to everything now.
Oh, so is that like when you're like, oh, can I get this without that? Or
Yeah. And people want, you know, this special burger that Jordan's crafted, but they don't want this, that, the next, whatever. So it turns into some other thing, and it's like, why don't you just order a simple burger with that on it?
Right.
You know what I mean? Just mod that on there. You know what I mean? It just kind of like it. It's not that bad of a thing, but it just makes you mad because it's like that was supposed to be something like it is what it is. Like you get that because that's what it is.
Right. And you're not
Don't
talking about like,
change
can
it
I get
all.
it without ketchup? You're talking about like serious changes.
Yeah, like, can I get that burger, but instead of beef, can I have goat? You know, like, fuck, that, I mean, we don't have goat, but you know what I mean. It's,
But mods are just like some things like you want a salad, but they don't want this and that, and you know,
Right.
and you're just like, what the fuck? And I'm the worst, like, because over there I'm just like, I look at the ticket, okay, whatever, but I'm not reading the ticket. I'm just, oh, they want that.
yeah.
Yeah, seahorse. I fuck everything up.
It's tough, though. Well, here's the thing, too, with Speedwell's menu, which is kind of a tough example, because Speedwell's menu is built to be customizable.
Yeah,
30
you're
different
right.
sauces. You can
That's
put
valid.
on 30 different things. You know, temperatures on half the items because they're all beef related.
That is absolutely valid, though. You're
So
right.
it's kind of like you are building your own dish when you do go in there, to a sense.
Yeah.
So there are 7 steps, like those tips and
Well,
tenders.
okay.
There's 7 questions when someone orders a tip and tender. How would you like the steak cooked? What flavor would you like your tenders? Do you want chips or fries? Do you want blue cheese or ranch? So by the time you get the ticket in the kitchen,
It looks like a CVS receipt.
yeah, there's already 5
You see this
modules.
receipt with for a party of 2. And you're like, what is all this shit?
So if there's 3 tips and
And
tenders
then they're allergic
on
to
a slip.
pineapples, mushrooms, gluten, and all this shit at the same damn time. And I'm
Right.
like, damn, I didn't know you could be allergic to all this shit.
At some point, you want to be like, what do you fucking eat?
Yeah. Like, why do you even
Be
come out to eat? Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
What
The
is he
honest
doing?
system, not to hate, and I get people, I have friends who have really bad allergy problems, and I am empathetic towards them.
Yeah.
Because they are the ones that suffer when people go out and lie. And that's
Yeah,
the thing,
yeah,
like,
yeah,
people
yeah.
that lie and
Exactly.
say, like, I'm allergic to tomatoes
Yeah.
just because they don't like tomatoes. Well, don't say that, because now
Just say
everything
you don't
that's
want
cooked-
it.
Just say no tomato.
Yeah. And
That-
and
that-
And
deal
you
with
know
that
because
better.
I don't like
'Cause,
tomatoes.
right.
okay, for instance, Meg, right? I've known Meg forever. I've kind of grown up with Meg. She used to be celiac,
Yeah.
like legit celiac. Like, I remember I used to come over to like Rob's house on the other day, and like all her snacks was just like rice cakes and the worst. Like, shit, I'm like, what did you buy this? Like, why would you eat that? Like,
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
But it was. She was like, no, I have a condition. Like, I'm celiac, and I'm like, damn.
Yeah, Maggie's the bar manager over at Speedwell. She wouldn't be able to work there if she was celiac
Yeah.
because the kitchen's so small. We batter everything in flour.
Yeah.
It's in the air. It's like
Yeah.
She's
you know,
over it
thank
now,
God
though. I
she's
guess she
over
grew out of it now. But back then, I was like, and she would when she got sick or whatever, like if she had gluten, she'd be shacked up for like 3 days.
Right.
Like, fucked up. Like,
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I work with a woman that, first of all, she's a vegetarian, so meat is off the menu, and she had some health issues, and they literally stepped her down to garlic, onions, and lettuce.
Damn.
And then after like 2 weeks, started like, okay, now you can put oil on it. Okay, now you can do that, and like slowly started adding things back into her life.
Damn, son.
To figure out like, and it was like I felt awful because it's
Ugh.
like you're eating less than a rabbit.
Thoughts and
And-
prayers, man.
and, like
Thoughts and prayers.
when you're eating
That's
3 meals a
fucking
day
crazy.
of lettuce, onions, and garlic. You'd be like,
I mean, you can
I don't
eat a
want to be
good
like you
Caesar
stink,
salad.
but
No, I wouldn't hate to have allergies though. I
Yeah.
hate to because that's another thing about this kitchen life. Like, I love food. I think that's why I got into it. But if I couldn't eat a lot of the things I eat now,
Yeah.
I don't know what I'd do with myself. I don't know.
Right.
I'm seeing some slight changes in things that I can't, like, I'm not a kid anymore. I had buffalo chicken egg rolls like at 11 o'clock one night.
Nice.
And I fucking paid for it for the next day. I'm like, what was I thinking?
I deal with that, too. I deal with that.
And I have he's now a 17-year-old son, and we go out for pizza a lot, and he gets bacon and pepperoni pizza.
Oof.
And one day I'm like, that sounds pretty good. And I went slice for slice. I had to have my girlfriend at the time drive him home because I'm like, I can't move. I'm going to die. She's like, what did you do? I'm like, I ate like a 16-year-old. She's like, you're an idiot. And I'm like, I know.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
Hot sauce. That's me with hot sauce. I love spicy food. I
Yeah,
fucking
me
love
too.
it. My
I was
stomach
raised
can't
off
handle
it, man.
anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll pay. Like yesterday, I went to one of my favorite wing places up in Norton, and I got their second spiciest, whatever, because that's what I like. I like it going down, but for the rest of the day, my stomach was upset, and it's just there is empathy there. I do feel for those.
No, because right now,
definitely do.
Jordan, we're the same age, and like,
Yeah.
there's a lot of things like I'll eat it, but I know I'm gonna pay for it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's
Right.
fine. It's fine.
I just start introducing probiotics in my life now. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
Right.
shit
That's
gets
what
crazy.
pickles are great for, man.
Yeah.
You get like those. Speaking of pickles,
Oh yeah, I gotta go buy that. That's right.
Sorry.
Pretentious Pickle, new spot down on Water Street in Plymouth. They're
I
Great
haven't heard of
place.
that. What is that?
Pretentious Pickle. Dude, this lady pickles. Andy knows her, but she pickles everything, and they're like legit from scratch pickles. It's
She
a
used
store.
to. She at the
Farmers
at the
market.
farmers market.
Yeah.
Yeah, she did. She did pickled watermelon rind. And
Yeah.
it was crazy. And I was like, that sounds nuts. So I tried it, and it tastes like apple pie.
Yeah, it's
I
wild,
didn't
right?
know. Me and Wisdom went one time, and I was like, bro, you see this shit?
Yeah.
He was like,
I went
whatever.
through a jar of the pickled Brussels sprouts in about 12 hours.
Oh shit!
I'm like, I just can't.
So it's
not
on
eat
Water
these.
Street.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
down near the local yoke over there. We're gonna buy
She has
pickle
pickleback
juice.
juice too, right?
We're gonna buy that from her and
Yeah,
serve it
yeah,
at
yeah.
Stevo.
Yeah, that's why I'm
but
giving
I've
him
been
shit.
Yeah, Andy's giving me shit because he hooked that all up, and I haven't gone down there to actually pick up my first order. But yeah,
Sorry, man, I shouldn't have done that on the air, but I did. I'm a terrible person. Let's see. You guys want to do some questions?
sure.
Let's see if I can find some. Well, I don't think this is the person's real name. Wade Wilson.
Ooh, Deadpool.
Yeah. It says, what is the most worthless bottle you've got on your back bar?
Oh,
Like, you can't even give it away.
fuck! I know this. I know I have something weird, but I can't think of it off the top of my head.
Of the million samples you get.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like you throw it up on the back bar, and it's just been sitting there.
So is that like common?
Oh, I got it.
Yeah.
It's shit. I shouldn't shit on the brand in case they want to sponsor the show. I call it True Moo, but it's like
It's
this
okay if you want me
chocolate
to. I'll
liqueur.
bleep out the name.
What's up?
I'll bleep out the brand name if you want.
Fantastic. I don't know. I don't even know what it's called. I call it True Moo because it looks like a fucking True Moo bottle that you get at like.
Oh, like
Farms.
the chocolate milk?
It's like chocolate milk, but it's a chocolate liqueur, and it's been on the back bar, and it looks like a kid would drink it.
Oh, that's
no
crazy.
one orders it. Like you could do probably a pretty good chocolate martini with it, I bet. But
Yeah.
it's just been sitting back there at this point. I'm like, yeah, I call it True Moo.
So is that something that, like, you try to figure out a drink with? Or
Yeah, we're just too lazy.
Yeah. Because I feel like anytime you guys normally have stuff that it goes into the mystery punch.
What's the other one? When I worked at a bar, Galliano was the worst because Galliano bottle is like it's an first of all, Galliano is like an Italian liqueur. It's like Sambuca, but it's got a little bit like a vanilla.
Yeah,
The
yeah,
one
yeah,
is
yeah.
like kind of like really tall and
Skinny.
Like,
Yeah. So
yeah.
you make California root beers with it, or Harvey Wallbangers, like a couple fossil drinks. But it's tall as shit. It's a 2-foot bottle. And keeping that behind any bar is not practical at all. And no one orders a Harvey Wallbanger or a California root beer anymore. So yeah, that is by
That's
far.
why you're gonna make that shit the drink special.
Yeah. Dude, no one's drinking Galliano. Not
No.
even my fucking grandmother's drinking Galliano. That's
Yeah,
the most useful
that
bottle
is like
I've ever
some
seen.
old shit.
By far. What else you got?
All right, Matthew Peterson. If you thought a manager was stealing tips, who would you call to investigate?
Ghostbusters.
I'm telling you, if a manager was stealing tips,
Yeah. I mean, what do you do, right? If you're
Like,
the
how would you
employee-
handle it? Because like you can't just fire.
I mean,
them
if this is
on
the manager, this
suspicion.
is someone you have in a high position. someone who's taking care of a lot of things apparently.
Yeah.
So it's like, if that is true, how do you replace, and who's going to fill the void, and like,
How do you?
and also it's like, if you trust this person that much to put them in a position in the first place, that's a crushing thing. Like, damn, are you really stealing? Like,
how's the manager even get? So I guess a lot of places where the manager counts the tips for the employees, I always thought that was fucking sketchy.
oh yeah,
Like, I wouldn't want, if I worked all night and earned my tips, I wouldn't want some manager taking it into another room anyway.
yeah.
So I don't know. I don't know if this person knows for a fact that the manager's doing it, or is counting the tips before the manager gets their hands on it and is coming up short. But any restaurant that does that system, I don't know. I guess it's for tip claiming, for taxes or whatever. I don't know the
Yeah.
reason behind that. I don't want someone distributing my
No.
tips for me. Absolutely
I've seen some
not.
sketchy things going on.
I don't know what I'd do though. Well, I don't know what I would do if I found out my manager, or if I suspected my manager of stealing tips. Is there?
I mean, does it
another
count if
person to
they
go
raise the
to?
percent that's being claimed? Is
Right.
that's I've seen that, and I'm
Yeah.
like, you guys are foul, bro. Like,
Right.
And I'm not even in front of the house, but I just see it, and I'm like, nah, that ain't
Right.
cool.
Yeah, I don't
I
know.
actually, it's going way back. I was a department head at a grocery store at the time, and the dude who worked security had like a side gig, almost like a secret shopper, where if someone thought like the bartender was giving out free drinks or, swiping money out of the drawer, they'd hire him and he'd go in and he would just
Oh,
hang
shit.
out and like,
Straight informant.
yeah, and keep an eyeball on him. And so he'd be like, hey, man, you want to go for drinks? He's like, it's on me because I'm getting paid to do it. I'm like, yeah, okay. And then
shit.
you just like you'd be going out for drinks and you like try to make nice with the bartender and see if you got like free drinks. And
Damn.
yeah.
I've done that.
Damn.
I'm not gonna lie. I've done it a couple times. I had a networking group that I was a part of for a while, and I'm still unofficially, I think, a part of it. We've worked together a lot, but it's basically people from all walks of life that were frequenting my restaurant often because they wanted to support me, and I was supporting them. It was a business networking group, and I came up with the idea. I'm like, hey, listen, it was starting to step away a little bit, take my hands off the wheel, let the place run itself, but I wanted to keep my finger on the pulse, and for 6 months, I had about 10 other people in my networking group just report to me, and I would hook them up with gift cards just so I could make sure everybody was doing the right thing. The nice thing about it was everybody was. So it was good. It was reassuring for me. But you got to do that because people are only going to work as hard for the most part as they do when you're around.
Yeah.
And then when you're not, it's
in this community, it's a little different because there's so many like close-knit people.
We're all friends. We're all
And
intermingled.
like if you saw someone really screwing over, Carl and Roman.
yeah,
or-
if I came in a new world and I thought the bartender,
Yeah,
I'd be
you'd
like, yeah,
feel
we'll
away.
definitely tell
I
them.
might even not like rat them out. I might be like, hey man, you may want to take a look at things.
Right.
Yeah.
Like I'm not gonna like name names, but you may want to.
There definitely is like there's like a family community down here,
Absolutely.
and then there's outsiders, like some people who come and go or whatever. Like
Yeah.
people ain't really that in there, but there's definitely a community of people like we all know. Like when I was Quahog, you know how much stuff I borrow from like here, there, everywhere, and people would
Right.
do it to me too. Like,
Yeah.
it's like a network of things that just go on.
I've been hanging out with Carl, and he'll be like, "Shit, I forgot to get changed." And he starts like going from restaurant to
Speed bump.
restaurant.
Speed
Being
bump.
like, "Hey man, can I get singles?"
No, I upped my change back from $450 to $650 because of Carl. That's not a lie. I
Yeah.
swear to God.
Carl's the mayor, man.
Yeah.
He just roams around.
But that's like that's part of being the downtown community where you do that so that when you come across, be like, "I need ketchup." They're like, "Yeah, don't worry
you
about
gotta
it."
be
Yeah.
everyone's crutch in a way. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If everyone wants to win, you gotta. Someone falls, you help them up, and if you fall, someone's gonna help you up.
And I never thought of that all like sort of alternative benefit too, like you just mentioned, where it's not just the borrowing from each other and that sort of the commiserating what we're all allowed to do now, but it's that you always have a watchful eye, and it's true. Like
Yeah.
Carl will go away on vacation and be like, "Hey, Wink, can you just keep an eye on the place for me?" Like, he's
Yeah.
not expecting me to show up and work a shift,
Yeah.
but come in for a beer once or twice while I'm away,
Yeah.
make sure everything's running okay. If they need anything,
Yeah.
can you help them out? And he'll do the same for me when I go away. It's
In the business owner aspect,
Everybody
yes.
knows
Yeah.
Carl just walks in and starts
everyone
telling the
knows what it's
bartender how to
like.
do things.
right. Yeah, they asked me, please don't have Carl come in anymore. But it is a nice little fringe benefit. And I don't think there are a lot of communities like that. I was just up in...
No, because I feel like most
is
restaurants are
different
like,
here.
"Fuck you, that's not
Yeah.
my problem."
Yeah,
because they're focused on
I'm
their own
doing me, you
business.
do
Yeah.
you, like But here
it's
we
crazy.
see each other all the time. You know what I mean? Like
I was talking to a restaurant owner in Middleborough yesterday for a while, and him and I get along. He comes to Speedwell all the time. We have very similar restaurants too. Buddy from Buddy's Pizza and Baldi's.
Okay. Yep.
Yeah, and he, Mike Wisdom, who's a friend of the show, he was actually on the last episode, used to work for him and stuff. And him and I talk all the time. We have very similar issues, but, outlooks as well. It's not like that up in Middleborough. He's like, I got restaurants coming for my staff. I got restaurants. He's like, I want what's down in Plymouth where, like, people trust each other. They don't steal each other's staff. They don't,
No, they do that around here, too.
Do that.
They do that.
Look at a little bit. I mean, I've seen it talking to Nick.
There's a whole lot of poaching going on.
You know what's funny is, like, a lot of it is not even necessarily stealing. They'd be like, what days do you have off at that other restaurant?
Yeah. They don't want necessarily
like
quit your current job, but if you got some extra...
If you're looking for an extra shift.
Right.
I mean, it's valid because it's like, it's hard to find people.
Yeah.
Like staff. Like, you know what I mean? And you don't want to see, like, your main guy stressed out all the time picking up shifts because you can't find a solid person to work.
Right.
You know what I mean? So, like, that's kind of why, like stay at Speedwell because I'm like, Seahorse, man, I can't be the guy you want me to be, like, all the time.
Yeah.
But I'm here for you, bro, because I get it, and I've been in that position, and it sucks. You know what I mean?
That's why I wear kitchen shifts.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's because I see him. He's managing the schedule. It's hard to find help. He's the guy. If someone calls out, he doesn't even. He's
the cleanup guy. He's the fall guy.
Yeah. He just shows up. He doesn't. I mean, he complains. He definitely.
And those are the kind of
but it's like,
employees
but
that
just
you
like,
do anything to keep.
Yeah.
Those people who are really
He's a big
invested.
piece of the puzzle over there. Like, you got that's a big void to fill.
But
we take care of him.
Since we're talking about kind of that theft and people keeping an eye on things, Jordan's an owner, Nick, you work in the restaurant, and it does affect the bottom line, so it affects you in a weird way. What is your stance on a bartender giving out a free drink?
I'm loose on it. I'll be honest.
Yeah.
I kind of tell because I can't be there. I'm not there being that guy, the mascot. That typically I've always learned that an owner should be giving away 5%. Like you should be rewarding the people that are coming in all the time.
There's a transparency.
In one way or another. You should be. You should be giving it away. I'm not there willing to work behind the bar and do it myself. I don't even moonlight the room anymore like I used to. But so I tell the staff, I'm like, within reason, if you have someone that's coming in all the time, tipping you well, just make sure you're ringing it and comp it. But I want them giving drinks away. I do. I think we're not every single person that walks.
His whole staff's going to listen to this, and he's going to go.
Like, word?
We're like, we're out. It's like, what? Everything.
No, we got a meeting this Tuesday. We're going to talk. We always touch back on it.
Yeah.
What's good? What's not good? What's okay? What's not okay? They're very good about it. If it's that old thing. You ever see the movie Clerks?
Yeah.
Where he just doesn't feel like working the counter. He just leaves the cash up on the thing, and people.
The honesty thing?
The honesty thing. And that reasonable doubt, he makes the whole speech like, if people think they're watching when you give them this much leeway, so they usually do the right thing because they don't want to be the asshole that gets caught. That's the same way with my staff. I say give them that leash, give them that free space to make adult decisions on their own, and more often than not, they make the right decision. And when they don't, they're not in like trouble. It's just like, hey, don't do that again. You know,
you're probably actually reducing the amount given away because you're being like, listen, you can do it, just put it in as a comp,
right?
Opposed to them being like, I'm just going to pour it and no one's going to fucking know.
Right. That's when it becomes.
And then because then they don't even know what they're giving away. There's no one's paying attention to it.
But it fucks up the numbers and everything.
That's what I get most upset about. Is like, I'm telling you can give away what you want within reason. Just ring it in. Make sure I can see what's going out, so at least I can control my costs.
Because I've been on the receiving ends of many a free drink, and sometimes there's even been places where I'm like, you know how much you gave me? And they're like, well, I'm quitting. And I'm like, well, if you didn't, you'd get fucking fired.
Like, what do you need to fire me?
Yeah.
It happens in the kitchen, too, though.
Yeah.
Well, like, there's times where, like, not so much just friends, but I see people, like, just regulars who just frequent and they love it, and you see them really liking everything. You throw them a free app, or you buy them around the drinks. You see a couple just having a good time.
You put like a couple extra like chicken wings in or something.
Well, no, not just that. Like, I'll let them know, like, like tell the server, like, listen, tell these folks I'm gonna send this app out to them. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, have a good night. Or I'll buy them around, like, it's someone's anniversary, and they're like having a really good time. You can see it because you go out and look and you read a room. You know what I mean?
You want to make it more.
You can do that. Yeah. You know what I mean? Or like, I'll see Jim do it all the time. Like, if my family comes there to eat, he'll come out, talk to them, send out an app, and he does it, and he has so many friends, like, he does it all the time.
Yeah,
but
I was
it makes
there one
people
day,
come
and
back.
I was there for maybe like 45 minutes, and he looks out, and he opens the door. I can't remember who was on the bar. He's like, why did you tell me Andy was here?
He's like that.
Yeah.
He sees everything. He's very observant.
Yeah, Jim's great.
When your friends come in, and you know it's your friend's ticket, and I'm speaking from experience, because he's not fucking listening, I worked in a pizza place. So it's like I would kind of fuck with their pizza a little bit. Like I would cut it into square pieces, so there'd be like one square piece in the center of the pizza, or I'd chop it into like 30 pieces, or like random and they'd come back to pick it up and they'd look at the pizza and be like, no, it's cool, and they'd be like, all right.
I got a story about that it actually will backfire.
I'm sure it will.
So check this out.
But I worked for 10 minutes. So.
I had a kitchen guy who grew up with me at a previous bar. My brother was bartending, and they put in a takeout order under the name Ryan. Now my brother's name's Ryan. So the kitchen guy, Connor, thought it was for my brother.
Yeah.
It wasn't. It was for a regular named Ryan as well, with not as good of a sense of humor.
Oh, man.
So on the inside, Connor, thinking it's for my brother, on the inside of the takeout container, drew a giant dick and wrote, "Eat a dick and inspire." Of the takeout container.
Oh, that's amazing.
Gets wrapped up, gets sent. It's on the inside of the takeout container, so you can't see it. The guy got home, and it was for him and his kid. Oh. The kid didn't see it from what I understand, but the guy was upset. The kid could have. He opens up his takeout container, and it says, "Eat a dick and inspire." He doesn't know Connor.
Right.
He's a regular. He doesn't really know my brother either. His name, this is just some innocent guy who wanted some chicken, and his name was Ryan.
That's fucking amazing.
He was a regular?
He was a regular, and I had to call him and apologize. I had to reprimand that cook, even though I got the joke.
Right.
I knew it was funny. I knew what he meant.
How did you even explain it?
I said he thought it was for the bartender. Bartender's name's also Ryan. We got a weird sense of humor here. I apologize. There's nothing I left a gift card for him. I apologize. But I mean, think about just that quote.
Unhappen.
Of all the things to write on the inside of a takeout container.
Imagine if it wasn't a regular though.
Yeah. Oh my God. Eat a dick and inspire.
Bro, that was me. I'm coming right. I'm in my car coming right back.
I didn't even think of that. Like, I
wouldn't made of 100% dick. Like,
bro, I'm coming right back there. Like, what the fuck is going on?
I wouldn't even think that there was something wrong with the food.
No.
Like,
I would Karen the shit out of you. Like, I gotta speak to the manager.
That's a real disgruntled and creative cook you have back there.
So we're laughing about eating dicks? Like, that's funny? That's funny to you?
Wow. All right, I never did anything that bad. But.
Holy shit.
I'm just...
I guess it could totally
Since we're the kitchen life theme here, it's a warning to kitchen guys.
There is a dark side of the
There is a dark side. And make sure 100% you know where a takeout container is going.
We're built with some dark humor and shit like that.
Yeah, eat a dick and inspire.
Because sometimes you just got to break the monotony.
Yeah, it's funny.
It's not even not. It's just like
it's just.
I can't even really like this guy. He laughs at like almost everything I say on Mondays because I say some really dark, cold shit that I probably shouldn't say.
Oh, it's Thatcher season 2.
And
it's Thatcher season 2. You got to follow this guy on Facebook, dude. It's endless content.
My Snapchat can be a little rugged. It can be very cold. And but we'll have especially me and Audette, we'll have some really cold conversation and just laugh our asses off.
The produce guy.
If anyone could hear
the produce guy, dude.
The produce guy. I can't even speak on that. I don't know if I can.
I can't.
He's the most miserablest guy ever. Yeah. We talk about his life and we narrate it, and it's just very.
We created an entire backstory for this produce guy who's a miserable prick and yells every time he delivers and all that. But if anybody in the outside of the kitchen world heard what we were saying about
this like, what is wrong with you people?
How did you even come up with this?
Yeah.
He's buried in alimony.
We just say he's up to his elbows in alimony. And, he sleeps in a small studio apartment with the toilet's next to the bed, and it's just fucked up shit. How he's just trying to figure out how to hang it up every day.
Donates his paycheck to orphans with diseases. We're just shitting on this guy.
He's like, that guy drove all the way to Barnes and Nobles in Braintree to find a book on how to not kill himself. And we say this shit and it's nothing.
It's nothing. Yeah. But if you were to write that on the inside of a takeout container and some innocent person,
if you were to hear us talk about him, man.
Yeah.
One day he came into and I was like, "Hey man, keep your head up."
What do you say?
He's like, "All right."
Yeah, right. Right.
We just call him Lyle. We don't know his real name.
He looks like a Lyle.
He looks like a Lyle.
He does look like a Lyle.
Just very depressed guy. Just.
Maybe
his wife left him. His wife left him for his brother.
Said, "Eat a dick and inspire," and derail this.
Well, he's not inspiring. Is he?
Oh man.
Maybe so. You're not guaranteeing or denying he may have eaten a dick.
All right, let's squeeze in one more question. We're on our own. Jordan, come back. Keep going?
Yeah.
Okay.
You still recording right now? Or?
Oh, of course.
Oh, all right.
Yeah, we have no rules.
That's kind of a bar. Let me see if I can find a
Damn, you
kitchen.
should have got me a beer then. I should have told
I
him.
know, right? We're about to end. I don't know. You probably had a... So let's talk about Jordan.
Okay.
Jordan. You want to know really what the deal is with
I do
Jordan?
think Bartok got a new hashtag, though.
What's that?
Hashtag eat a dick and inspire.
Yeah, we can do that.
That's totally got to be a thing.
Well, let me... So is there any kind of... we're not going to get into a question if Jordan gets back, but... so are there any kind of... Is there, like, practical jokes that kitchen staff play on each other?
Oh, all the time.
So,
That's that's some of the best shit ever. Hey, we don't do it enough anymore, honestly.
Yeah.
The funniest thing, right? So back in the day, if a new guy came, dishwasher or whatever, we used to just like act like, oh my god, it's so urgent. Can you do us this favor? Like, yo, can you go next door and get a bucket of steam? And they'd be like, all right, yeah. And they want to be like, yeah, I'm part of the team. I'm going to do it. And they go there, like, they go to the next restaurant. Like, what the fuck are you talking about? A bucket of steam or a bacon stretcher or you know, a mustard
Glass
cutter.
magnet.
Glass magnets, yeah.
That's the classic.
Like, we used to... I used to work at the
Rice
Weather
peeler.
Vane. At my first kitchen job, the Weather Vane. And these kids would come. This is back when Cabbie Shack was Sousa's.
Okay.
I don't know if you're like a long time
That's
ago.
quite a while ago because I don't ever remember being...
Weatherman was where
Tavern on the
Wharf
Wharf
is.
is,
Okay.
Yeah, right. First, like, I'm in high school. So, like, new kids would come and be like, yo, go next door and get a bucket of steam. Now, Sousa's was in on it. They
Yeah.
knew. So he'd be like, oh, we don't have it, but go to Lobster Hut. They got it. Definitely got it. Lobster Hut's in on it. Like, no, we don't have it, but
Yeah.
East Bay's got it.
Right.
East Bay's not in on it.
Did Agnew in on this?
No.
Because he mentioned this, and he made him like, he's like, you're going to want to take a two-wheeler. They're very heavy. So he sent some, like, fucking bus kid for a bucket of steam with a fucking two-wheeler.
I'm not that cold. I'm not going to do all that. I'm not going to do that. The kid would come back 45 minutes later, like, what the fuck? Like, and then if they quit, like, well, he ain't built for it. He's not built for this.
I worked
If
retail.
they stay and laugh, like, okay, like, you got, you know, you're good.
I worked retail. We would send people for the beam stretcher.
Yes.
You know, so I was a supervisor, and this new kid there a couple days comes up. He's like, Omar sent me to find the beam stretcher, and I'm the supervisor. And before I could be like, listen, buddy, the other guy goes, oh, it's aisle 67, and off he goes. There's no fucking aisle 67. So now I have to go back and go to the guy. I'm like, listen, it's really funny. You can't do that, man. That kid was super pissed.
So one time we had this kid like, can you mince this flour? And he just, okay. And he's just sitting there.
Get the
And they
fuck out
take
of here.
pictures of him. He's just smiling. Oh
I think I already told a story on the
sick
podcast, but it's been a while. I have the rice peeler story.
I don't know.
We fucking rice peeler. I worked at the Venus de Milo, which is this giant banquet restaurant. And when I first started, there was this angry fucking chef that worked the banquet area named Peter, and he was a fucking prick. He just looked for reasons to flip out. So we'd always get a new busket at the other end of the building that didn't know who Peter was because he worked banquet, we worked the dining room. Anytime we got a new kid that was a pain in the ass, we'd send him over to Peter and ask for the rice peeler. Now, like I said, Peter was just looking for a fucking reason. Dude, I swear to God, 4 out of 5 bus kids quit on the first day if we sent him for the busket. What the fuck are you talking about? Get this fucking... Who keeps asking for a fucking rice peeler? And Peter would just, like, throwing pans at the kid and flipping out. He's this little 16-year-old kid that has no idea. He's never worked anywhere before, let alone a restaurant. Going up to this fucking ball of fire and asking for a rice
Think
peeler.
about being 16 and coming into this environment. You know what I mean?
Right.
You're going to see some shit, and like some of it might be alluring, some of it might be like very scaring. Like, it's just either or. You never know.
But it makes a man out of you, or a woman. You know,
It does.
You get
You
humble.
grow some skin. You get some thick skin about stuff.
And front and back of the house.
That is
man,
one thing
like-
about the industry. You're a certain breed. You deal with it. You know what I mean? You deal with a lot of shit, and after a while, you're like.
So when you get that new 16-year-old kid dishwasher, it's like everybody immediately being like, how are we going to fuck with this guy? Yeah.
I mean, the point I am now, like, I don't really, like, I'm just like, I don't have time. Like, I don't really have time for this
Trust,
shit.
it's so hard to
From
find
coming
help
up the,
too.
yeah, it is. It's very hard. Like, you don't. The dishwashers are a heavy glue in a restaurant. You know, you got to say that. But I mean, some of these kids are just like, I don't even want to deal with this shit right now. Like, training a little kid how to do this stuff, and like, they don't get it.
Right.
There's even grown people I know who just come to work, and I'm like, like sense of urgency in a restaurant is
Yeah.
like probably one of the number one things you need to have. Like, just if I'm going to tell you to do this, do it. Just hurry up and do it. Don't worry about it. I'm not trying to belittle you. Nothing. Just,
Right.
just do it. Okay.
I'm not gonna say
So we'd be
please.
like, oh,
just
okay,
do
yeah,
it.
I'll get to that.
Yeah.
And
Yeah. It's
No
a
one
lot
has
like
time
the
for
military,
that.
man. It's
Yeah.
like you gotta get that thick skin. You gotta have that sense of duty, and you're gonna get shit on once in a while.
yeah, and it's not
suck,
personal.
but-
It's not
Yeah.
personal.
Yeah.
But some people take it personal. Like, you know what I
and
mean?
they're not built for it. It's fucking great. You know what though? Even the sensitive guys, they figure out how to deal with it. Like they,
Yeah.
you know, they can take it. They figure it out. Like, hey, listen, it's gonna be more difficult for me to be sensitive about this than it is to just get it fucking
Yeah, there
done.
is like you got to think the bigger
Yeah.
picture.
Flip the switch, and then eventually, even the most sensitive employees back there, they figure it
Because
out.
like I can be like sensitive, but I understand. Like, listen, you just do your shit and go.
Right.
Like, we'll worry about this later. You know what I mean?
Right, and that's just pride. You know, and like we were going back earlier. The fun part about being in the kitchen is seeing someone eat your food and enjoying it, and you build pride. You get proud. You know what I mean? And then when someone challenges that pride a little bit, it's hard not to something you care so much about not to react and be like, oh, what the fuck, man, that hurts.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I put a lot of heart in that, but then you realize at the end of the day,
Oh,
we're all just trying to
you get
the
irate,
job
you get a
done.
refile, like, you know,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
just last night I had someone say I overcooked the steak or something like that, which I know it wasn't.
Right.
Put that out there. You know what I mean? All right. But you have those customers that are just like that. They just like they just want to bitch about something, whatever. But if you know you did like you put your all into it, a ticket and everything, and you put it out great, played it nice and perfect and everything. For someone to try and be like, yeah, but this and that, the next.
And it's always like one of those.
Right away,
Right.
you're gonna be like, man, fuck you. You don't know shit. Like,
Right,
And that's kind of part of it. Like,
And it's like maybe you just didn't like it. Okay.
if you're an industry professional, you know what the industry considers medium well.
Yeah.
But if you're just Joe Schmo grilling on, the grill that cooks everything to a fucking shoe leather,
Yeah, and
medium
eating
well might mean something completely different to you, and
Yeah.
so that's always tricky.
It's true. It is.
It
It's a little
is.
subjective at this point. I like that people are starting to throw on menus like, and not even starting. It's been for a little while now. Like what the definition of all the different temperatures is. It's not fucking subjective anymore. This is what medium rare is. Like that's what you're gonna get. when
Depending
you-
on the quality of the meat or whatever, like that. If you just like, you got 8-ounce burgers or 6-ounce burgers, something like that. I'll put on the menu like, you want pink or no pink? Like,
Right.
that's it.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm not dealing with the bullshit.
Right.
Okay, I don't want to hear you want kind of this and kind of that. And,
Yeah.
like,
And
no.
Katie's does that.
KK's
they're-
does that, pink or no pink.
Yeah, and they're a burger centric place. I like the move, and it definitely takes a lot of heat off of the kitchen guys. But at the same time, too, I also get the other people that are like, well, pink isn't medium rare, and I like a medium rare burger. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it backfires in that aspect, too, because you
Yeah.
are essentially there for the clientele, no matter how ignorant some of them might be
Yeah.
sometimes. You know what I mean? So it is. I wish I could just do that, pink, no pink. But now you've been doing it the
Well,
other
no,
way
I mean,
for so
like I said,
long.
it depends on like.
Yeah.
Like at Quahog, we had a smaller burger, so it was like easy to do that.
Yeah.
Right.
8 ounces and up, you kind of got to do that, like medium rare,
Right.
whatever.
Thick enough where you can kind of gauge it.
With Jim Loves, like at Malabar, like if you want your steak medium rare, or I should say, if you want your steak a true medium rare, order it medium. Everything's gonna be done under one.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
So by the time that comes off the grill, you gotta let it rest. To probably cook a steak, you grill mark it. You might throw it in the oven, whatever. You have to let it rest. You know what I mean? 5 minutes, whatever. And by the time it gets onto the plate, the expo, and out the server to the table, it's gonna rise up a little bit.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Carry over cook.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
Yep.
So, like, you have to be very conscious of that. So,
And that's what we're taught, right? Like, especially with steak. You're always taught in the kitchen to cook it under.
Yeah.
Because if worse comes to
can
worse,
always
they send
bring it
back.
up.
You can bring it up.
You
yeah.
can bring it up.
can't go back to it.
You can't go back. Exactly. Same
Yeah.
with salt. It's like, you can always add more salt later,
Yeah.
and the salt shakers on the table. Don't oversalt the food. You might like salty shit. Whatever you want it at, do it a little less on the salt, because you can always add more later. They can add more later.
All right, gentlemen, that's last call.
All right. Last call. This is wow, I'm a little rusty here. This is a part of the show where
This is the part of the show where Jordan fucks up all our online information.
done deal. At Speedwell Tavern and Instagram. Oh, see, I know I'm doing Speedwell, not Box.
Yeah.
Fuck that.
I'm just messing with it.
It's a part of the show where we finish up our final thoughts. Doesn't have to necessarily pertain to what we talked about today. It could be anything we just got going on our mind. I will kick it over to Andy, since he's such a fucking smartass, and have him start off.
You know it's love, man. So, since it is love, go to Speedwell Tavern. They have French Fry Tuesdays.
Thanks, man.
And they have a unique twist on French fries every Tuesday. It carries over if they have some, because I got the last one that wasn't on Tuesday.
Yeah.
It was like a Thursday. And the last one I had was French onion chicken tater tots. I'm sure I'm not getting that title right, but it was fucking incredible.
Thanks, man.
So big shout out to Speedwell, and make sure you check out the Inebriar podcast.
Yeah, hell yeah. All right, I'll take it next. Jordan Chapman, Speedwell Tavern. I want to give a big shout out for Mayflower Brewery. I mentioned this before, and I think the last time I was on the show, which was a while ago, but September 8th is the America's Hometown Throwdown. All of Plymouth's most talented chefs are going to be competing against each other.
Oh, yeah.
Raise money for charity. It's going to be this will be the third year, I believe, maybe the fourth. It'll be the fourth, actually, yeah. Because John Ricardo of Solstice won the first two, and then Stephen Coe won last year. But it's a great gig. They have a bartending competition for the second time. Matt Tiso, friend of the show, won last year.
Are you emceeing again?
I am emceeing again. I believe Jake Hill is going to be doing. Jake Hill, also friend of the show, just took a chef gig, which is pretty wild.
Really?
Yeah.
Shout out to Jake.
He is working for the people who put together Levitate, which is a music festival going on as we speak in Marshfield. But he's going to be opening up a taco joint
nice.
with that gentleman. He is the executive chef along with someone else.
Oh, that's awesome.
So I'm very excited for Jake. But hopefully he'll be able to MC with me this year. It's kind of hard not to vibe off that guy. But yeah, September 8th, please come check it out. We were just talking about how tight the Plymouth community is. These chefs all get together, they compete,
That's
but
one
it's
of the
fun
events that make it, that tightens it up.
And the Inebriar podcast will be there.
Inebriar podcast, that's right, on
Jeff
site.
Nardone invited us, so.
Hell yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah,
it's going to be a
fun.
great time. Yeah. Awesome. Throw it over to you, Nick. What do you got?
Come check me out down in the Malabar. I'm there all the time. I'm also at the Speedwell Tavern, doing up tenders and things of that nature.
Yeah, probably doing them in your sleep at this point.
And yeah, man, good food, man. That's what it's about. So I don't know, food and drinks. That's the life. It's hard, but we do it.
Hell yeah.
And gluten lives matter. So don't forget that. All right. Shout out to Carl.
Hashtag gluten lives matter. It's gonna fucking be trending.
I hope so. That'd be awesome. So thanks for listening. Do you want me to?
Oh, take it, dude. Take it. I'm rusty.
You're rusty.
And
so,
hungover.
So thanks for listening to the Bar Talk podcast. This is Andy from Inebriar with Jordan from Speedwell and Nick from Speedwell Malabar. If you have questions, write us in questions. We will answer them for you. You can do that at bartalkcast@gmail.com. You can find us on... What?
I'm counting.
Oh, okay. You give me a look. I'm like, I didn't fuck it up yet.
No, I was like, so far, so good.
You can find us on Instagram at BarTalkCast. You can find us on Twitter at BarTalkCast and on Facebook also at BarTalkCast. You can write us into any of those places and tell us a funny story, something crazy, and ask us questions.
Crushed it. Nicely done, Andy.
It's not my first rodeo.
I guess not.
No. like 150 episodes, I kind of picked up what the hell I'm doing most of the time. Don't ask me anyone's name, because I'll fuck that shit up right away.
Thanks for listening.
All right.
Eat a dick and inspire.
Hey.
Okay, thanks for checking out the podcast. And don't forget to check out our other podcasts on the Inebriar Podcast Network. There's the Bar Talk. There's Old Colony Cast. There's, of course, the Inebriar Podcast. And our latest, Retro Redoctopus, a kind of nerd genre podcast that you can check out now, all available on our website at inebri-art.com. And pretty much available everywhere that podcasts are available, on Stitcher, iTunes, Google Play, Apple Podcasts, all those things. And if you don't see it where you're looking, let us know. We'll try to get onto that as well. And you can also email us at inebriart@yahoo.com with your questions, complaints, and suggestions. And also, if you could take the time to rate and review us on iTunes, that would be phenomenal. That helps us get more exposure and bring more of these great podcasts to your ears. And thanks again for listening.